This is a public hearing on Walton County's 2026 proposed budget for public comment. We're going to go through what the last year's budget was and what's proposed this year, and then we'll open it up. When you come up to make your statement, please state your name, where you live, and make your public comments. If there's questions that we can answer, we have finance here. And so we will get started. And I'm going to turn it over to John Ward, our county manager, to announce the budget.
Okay, I've got a few basic slides that I want to share just to kind of kick off the discussion. And again, this is for the fiscal year 2026. The fiscal year 2026 proposed budget, it started out a good bit larger than this, but it has been narrowed down to $102,365,591. The FY25 adopted budget was $83,234,500. This does reflect an increase of $19,131,091. The increases are due mainly to public safety across the public safety divisions and pay raises that were awarded by the commission in order to for retainage and for being able to fill many of the positions that have been open for quite a while. There's already been extensive cuts with department heads, the Board of Commissioners, as well as a recalculation of defined benefits program. So with that, we'll open the public hearing for any comments or questions that the public may have.
All right, this is just raise your hand and please come forward. I will make this statement in addition, John. This budget will be balanced by present property tax mill rates, general fund, and other sources of revenue. So come forward and make your comments on it. It is a huge increase for Walton County, but it's predominantly public safety and the pay raises. Feel free. I know you want to make, come on. Somebody's got to start this show.
Make sure. My name's Roger Hale. I live on Youth Monroe Road. Have for 26 years now, something like that. Anyway, I came out here to retire because I thought Walton County was a nice place to retire. Gwinnett County had already been ruined and annihilated by Wayne Hill. So anyway.
Please speak into the microphone because we are recording this.
Okay. So anyway, there was no comments about Wayne Hill. Everybody knows him. My questions are quite a few, not terrible. But anyway, I'm wondering if there's any money in the budget this time around for more things like road safety. Every time I come up here, I talk about how come we can't clean our ditch lines because every time it rains, they're overrun.
Let me take those one at a time. The budget is here at the courthouse. Roads and bridges you can pull up. It's a massive budget being spent on not only repaving, stop signs, all sorts. The roads and bridge budget is a very hefty part of the total budget.
Yeah. Well, when I talk to Public Works, they don't really say that they know there's any money coming up for doing things like cleaning ditch lines and cutting trees that are hanging over the road and stuff like that.
Well,
oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, this is for comments on the general budget. Detailed comments deep into the budget, you can, we provide all sorts of services. It's never enough, no matter, in some instances, we pave like 25 to 45 miles of roads a year, depending on the LMIG grants. We have to keep people employed. There's been multiple pay raises trying to keep people in your roads and bridge department. Your CDL drivers, once they get licensed CDL, well, they can go work for another company. We train them and we lose them.
Yeah.
Just a plain, simple answer to your question is yes, it's included in the budget.
Okay. Okay, so I may see it sometime in the near future?
Well, expectations on how much and where you want it to be spent
That's another story.
versus whether it's in the budget, two different answers.
I had another question. I saw that when you were talking to one of the other groups, you were talking about that there's going to be a millage rate increase because of all this.
I just answered that.
You're not going to do a millage rate increase?
I said there was a probable chance for a mill rate increase to get feedback, and there is no, at this time, chance for a mill rate increase. We've analyzed our other sources of revenue. It's going to drain heavy on our reserves, but there's no appetite from the present board for that. The reason I made the statement to see if there was. And we have reserves for this next year anyway to handle this increase.
Okay. So I see part of what you're talking about is the transition of the prisoners to the new jail and stuff. Was none of that put in the project plan, so it could have been covered maybe in coming up with, I know you guys did a lot of stuff to bring in grants and stuff to get this new jail. So was that not considered? I mean, most times if you're going to move a business, you're going to say it's going to cost us to move from here to there. So I would have thought there would have been a line item in the budget for the new jail to say, we got to move these prisoners from one place to another.
I can answer that. That's what you're talking about is the difference between a capital project of building it and a general fund balance or general fund operational cost of actually operating it. The operating it portion is included in the move. You cannot include transition or movement cost in a capital project.
Well, that's sad, but anyway, that's another story. Business world is different. World, I realize that.
Well, the actual move is not going to be a huge expense. It's the actual operation once they're there.
Okay, well, I misunderstood the newspaper article because it inferred that there was extra people were going to have to be hired for the move and all this kind of stuff. So
It's the operation once they get there.
Operational, the new facility to move prisoners we're housing in 2 other counties right now back.
Yeah.
The manpower needed has been calculated in this new budget.
Okay. I'm want you folks to come up and say.
Roger, if you want to go down and talk to Roads and Bridges, and we'd be glad to set that up if you got particular issues that you'd like looked at out there where you live. I hadn't been made aware of them yet, but be glad to.
Well, it's like back on Hoham Hollow when I talked to John, I think it is, at Public Works.
John Allman, yes, sir.
And I told him way back before they paved Hoham Hollow, I said, there's no ditch lines. Every time it rains, it's dangerous as, to drive out through there.
Well, we're talking about budget today. That'll be between you and Roads and Bridges, please.
They used the budget to pave the road instead of fix the ditch lines. And I always say, I've told the state this, I thought y'all's job is to make roads safe, not just to make roads. And I would like to see a little more safety in Walton County. That's all. That's why I keep asking, is it added in the budget? Because,
All right.
okay. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Who's next? Again, this is a huge year for Walton County. The new public safety complex will be complete going into this new budget year. Before this board decided to move forward with that project, there had been 5 feasibility studies done by the county, all recommending a new facility be built. There were 8 grand jury reports that we have mandating that something be done and built. and the board decided to build it. And fortunate, we got ahead of the curve on inflation on this project. It's one that should come in close to budget. Now it's time to look at manning it, staffing it, and moving forward. And we'll give, I don't like short meetings when they're supposed to be done and recorded. We'll give about a 5-minute in case somebody's coming late, and if they haven't, and if you think of something or statement you want to make for the record, we welcome.
While we're waiting, just for the benefit of Commissioner Dixon, Commissioner, if you'll look at the slides up here, I'll just cover them real quick so you can be updated by this. Last year's budget, 2025, was $83,234,500. This year's budget has been decreased from our previous numbers with additional cuts down to $102,365,591. And you see the difference on the slide there. Most of this involves public safety and pay raises. Public safety being across all public safety divisions. And as the chairman just stated, that our game plan moving forward this year is that the budget will be balanced with present millage rate revenue sources and other revenues that have been identified.
Other revenues and reserves.
And reserves.
So, say it one more time.
We will use current revenue sources, the current millage rate, and reserves as our proposal to balance the budget
No
this year.
no millage rate increase.
That's why I wanted to make sure you heard that.
That cannot,
I want you to say it again, make sure.
well, that cannot be decided. This is a budget hearing.
Right.
But to balance this proposed budget, we're proposing present millage rate, additional sources of revenue, and to fall back on reserves. Unless the board decides different when the digest is finished. We can't calculate on what the digest may end up until we get the final digest. But right now, to propose a balanced budget, that's where the sources of revenue will come from.
Just want to make sure you heard that before we went too much further. Thought you might be interested in it.
Well, somebody want to sing us a song while we wait a minute or two more? Oh, I've been told not to make any crack comments. I'm sorry.
Might get kicked under the table.
Yeah, fly swatter just hit me. All right. With there being no other comments, we will go through this process again at 6 o'clock. We're not required but one public meeting, but before we received complaints from people that worked in the evening, couldn't make the 6 o'clock. And then we received complaints from people that work in the mornings through 5 o'clock, couldn't make a 10 o'clock. So we'll go through this process again this evening at 6 o'clock. And please say prayers out for the family of Officer Monk. His funeral is today. We lost one of our own in a terrible accident, and it always hits hard when you lose one of your own. With that being said, I'll adjourn this